Welcome back.
Red, dirty, perky, shark, a back, flat, important, still a bucket, Martin, perkaloom.
So today we were going to work on the lights and getting them installed in the truck.
You're fooling yourself.
I ordered some of this and it didn't come today as it was promised. To see where it is. It might show up later today, but it'll be after I'm able to work on it probably. That's disappointing. Item 2, I was going to get a new windshield. The cost of windshields have nearly doubled since I originally started thinking about getting a windshield 3 years ago. So I guess I can get a windshield from Atlantic British for somewhere around $900 plus shipping, so we're into the $1,000 range. Originally that was a $460 windshield, so that's pretty disappointing. I watched some videos last night about how to use an orbital sander and some magic juice to polish the windshield and maybe get some of the cracks, and not cracks but the pitting. Mainly mine has pitting. It's a 280,000 mile windshield that was made in 1993. Yes, it's the original, I'm pretty sure. And if it's not, I know I've not replaced it since 2020. So there goes the UPS. Oh no, Prime guy. Oh man. All right, so I guess I'm not getting it today. The Prime truck just drove by and they did not stop at my house unless they walk up my neighbor's driveway and my driveway at the same time. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm kind of bummed by that. I really wanted to put a new windshield in so I don't die when lights are shining on my windshield when it's raining. And if you can imagine, a pitted windshield eats through windshield wipers pretty badly. So do you want to go see it? Oh, I know you do. Now let's take a look. The guy last night used one of these, so I have one too. So you can see every little white dot. And if you can hear that from the crow, out over the crow sound, every one of these little white dots is a chip that a piece of rock or a sand or whatever, some of them are really big. There's a good sized one right there. You see that one? If I come in here like this, I think you can see it. Here's a nice collection right here. I almost remember that one. I think that was, I thought it was going through the windshield on that one. I don't remember when this happened, but that happened. So that's basically the gist of it. Got a lot of chips. Oh, that's just a piece of dirt. A lot of chips. This is a good one right here. A couple of good ones. Maybe I already showed that one to you. There's a couple good ones up here. So yeah, so that's kind of disappointing. I really need to replace it. The guy local that was recommended to me said not to, he couldn't get the part. So I said, hey, would you install it? So he's like, well, maybe. So I get that part. I mean, it's my risk and it's my risk if I do it. So I'm not going to be able to polish these chunks out. There's a good one. I'm not going to be able to polish those out. But I can polish smaller ones out. So you can just see it. See how those little dots, you can feel it. It feels like sandpaper. So 3,000 grit sandpaper. Anyway, best thing to do, replace. Sorry, where are you? Over here. Over here. Best thing to do is replace it. So I'm gonna have to pinch off $1,200 probably for a windshield. Get it shipped here and hope that it fits. He also said you need a OEM windshield. I'll need an OEM windshield seal. So my seal is old. That's a given, I think. And I've got one in a bag somewhere. Don't know why I couldn't find it, but I could. It was over there in the back pace thing. Anyway, there it is. It's a Brit part, so it's not OEM. But that's what we have, and I'm not sure an OEM is even available, so I'd have to look online for that. Anyway, so the thought is, one, do I spend the money on polishing that windshield?
No.
And two, do I have one shipped here and have somebody install it? The whole part of the windshield is, and installing it is, I left the cowl off and I left the bonnet off just because I thought it would be a lot easier to swap this out if this wasn't covered with stuff. So that's the thought. Anyway, all right, so we're gonna go another day, I guess. Check online and see where our part is. It's probably not getting here till Monday, so I'll wind up being out here soldering on Monday. I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 more relays, 1 to each end, I think. And because I know I want one for interior lighting in the back, so I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna light. I'm either going to use the original dome light location, which is right there, or I'm going to put some lights on the sides. I haven't decided yet, but I know I'm going to want to turn them on and off while I'm laying in a bed that's going to be right there. So that's what we're going to do there. Yep, that's what the plan is. What are we going to do today? Don't know. This might be a two-parter, and I might be working on this next week. All right, not having anything else to do, I came back here and I reorganized this because some of the wires I was trying to pull over when I had them all rode up here at the top, trying to pull over, they weren't going to be long enough. And I didn't want to shunt them, so I didn't want to put another thing on there. So it was easier just for me to point all the relays towards this, which I was thinking through. It's like if I ever had to unplug one of these, I guess I could just bend it up and jerk it off, but yeah. Anyway, so hopefully it won't have any fail points also. All right, so you may have also noticed that I've clipped all the blues off and sealed them with a piece of heat shrink tube. All right, so 87A is the blue on this type of relay. 87A is the opposite for 87. I think that's the right number. Yes, 87. So when you apply power to the red, you close the circuit, okay? And that allows current to flow through the circuit, okay? Blue is the opposite of that in that it's a closed circuit flowing current until you apply the switching to the blue. So you cut the current to blue, it opens the circuit and thus stops power flowing. So it's basically the opposite. So switch controls power moving in, off, no current. Current always there, on, or switch off, or whatever situation where you interrupt the current to the blue, that's when the current is interrupted. So blue is always hot, red is only hot when there's switching on it. That's how it works. So that's what we did here. So I wanted to remove those so they weren't just loose wires hanging around. I could just bounce down the road, bump, 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 bouncing down the road, bump, 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 melting down, fire, whatever. Yeah, I didn't want that. That was a negative kind of thing. So, all right, that's what we've got. So the rest of this is positive, negative switching stuff, and we'll get all that wired up. whenever our circuit board comes in and we can wire our diodes to it and get those all lined out for the master switching. Dun, dun, dun. Yay! All right, that's where we're at today. Kind of a short video, kind of disappointing. And yeah, so we'll see. Use your words, Eric. Whenever the board comes in, we can solder to. That's what we're gonna do. We're also gonna order some more of these in the correct size. Going in the house to do that right now. We'll get those sorted out, and because I ran out of the others, so I ran on my cheapy crappy ones. I do have enough here to redo it, so I might redo it. I don't know. If I had really good ones, I might redo that. So we'll get to it. And then I need to order some, I actually need to calculate the amperage and buy some fuses for that. So that's work to do. All right, that's what I got so far. Gonna hold this video until I get the other board. I'll do the soldering with this video. So you'll see all this mashed together when I get it done. All right, day 2.
You've got
Amazon, baby, that's
All
out.
right. We got Amazon today. Woo! And this was the second one I ordered, because the first one said you can't return it. I hadn't even received it yet, so I couldn't return it, or cancel the order. I think is more accurate. I couldn't cancel the order. What the hell kind of glue did they put on this thing? All right, so we got our PCB boards in, and so this was the second kit, and it's a little fancier than the first kit. It only cost $3 more, and it had 11,000 more pieces in it. So, good grief. Yeah, of course I missed. All right, so here it is, yay. All right, so we're gonna pick one of these out. This is basically what we're trying to accomplish here. And then we'll use some of these other pieces. So here's some, this will like make a power bank on one side. That's what we were gonna do with it. There's a bunch of those. And then there's some power ports for screwing wires in. Oh yeah, got little screws, little power ports, so we could power port ourselves silly with this. Guess we could use those. All right, so there's lots of sizes. Those are the same sizes. There's several sizes, so we could use several sizes if we want to. All right, but what do we want to do about the power ports? I don't know yet. All right, so what we need is some solder. We just happen to have some handy dandy solder right here in our soldering drawer. All of this solder is stuff my dad owned from the 70s. So when I told you guys in that last video that I've got my dad's tool, all right, so I guess it was the week mud daubers hatch in my shop. I've got at least 10 up there. One dive bombed me in the face and then flew out the big door. So I'm hoping they find the big door and fly out and not dive bomb me again. Anyway, this solder and all these tools and stuff you see me using, soldering irons, all this stuff was my dad's, and he bought most of it in the 70s and the 80s. He passed away in 93, and so I know he didn't buy anything in the 90s because he was already dying from cancer then. All right, let's get some power. Let's get some power. Dying from cancer is what happens when you're a 49-year smoker and you work around high voltage power equipment, radar equipment, your whole life. That can happen. All right, so we're gonna put these diodes in so we can connect the power ports to it. So in our diagram, we have the 1 where all of the connections come in off that switch, and then each of those go to their separate happy homes. So we're going to put those in on this board. So we need to put these in, and so we can pre-bend them. That's what we're going to do. Fancy schmancy there. I'm sure someone's telling me you should cut those leads off and not use so much of them. Probably. And are those electrically? Oh, no way. The posts on my pieces are too big for my holes. Holy crap. Holy crap. Oh man, I cannot win for losing. Didn't even occur to me. Didn't even occur to me that that would be a problem.
The good Lord chose not to bless me with charm, athletic ability, or a fully functional brain.
All right, this is probably colossally stupid, but we've got a lot of them. So I'm just gonna make the posts on these smaller by just giving them a little love. Reducing the diameters just enough to fit. Let's see if I am getting close. And voila! All right, that's the plan now. So let's do some adjusting. It's gonna be too long. Let's adjust this one now. Probably ought to be wearing safety glasses, but it's kind of working. All right, all right. Dad's rolling over in his grave, but you know what? It's close enough for rock and roll. Could be done a lot better, I think. We may come back to that. Let's get another one. All right, I'll cut to the chase. Okay, we're back. All right, I got them cut down and sized. You can see there's a little bit sticking out on the back. So that's going to be our starting solder points, and then come around to the top and solder at the top too. So let's start on that. All right, can we get in close enough for you to enjoy my soldering? Got to hold it down. It's going places. It's trying to move on me. We're just going to hold it down with that for right now. I'm going to pre-solder my tip so that hotness can go straight down into the place where we're going with our solder, and we're going to drop it on there. Ooch. All right, one down. I can barely see the second one. It might be entertaining. A nice soldering place. That's all right. Alrighty. How's that look? Oh, we got a little bit on this side too. That's great. All right. Being very careful. I'm out of practice. I think it's the worst of this is I'm out of practice. All right, bottom side done. I'm gonna put some on the top side too because I'm a psychopath. Probably not necessary, but we're doing it anyway. I have a mite on my arm, you see him? Nice. All right, let's check it out. Okay, that looks terrible. That's great. That looks terrible. But good enough for now. Okay, according to our graphic, all of these are connected at this end. So you can see right here, they are all connected at this end. So I just need to bridge across there and just solder across there. So those are all connected. And then I'll come out here, probably one of these posts, and put in a spot for our wire, which is this, which would be up here. So let's do that now. That is not working like I thought it would. Maybe I need to jumper those. Alright, not working like I thought it would. Not at all. Nope, that is not working like I wanted it to. That's not working. All right, not working. So we're gonna build some jumpers. Okay, we've made one giant jumper out of a piece of copper wire. Yes, that's dumb, but it's gonna be what we're doing because I don't have the right stuff and I want this done. So we're gonna do this way. Again, we can do this another time with the right stuff. So we're gonna get this good and hot. Last but not least, oh, the wire's hot. Eric, be smarter than the wire. All right, there it is. Ugly, but functional. Ugly, but functional. Okay, so now all we need to do is attach our end wires into the switching into 85 on each side of this, and then one wire into here, and we're all set. So we can get that done. I'm wondering if those little pieces of these little connectors and stuff would be of any value to it. I don't know, because those will fit and you just like solder them on there, and then I need to make sure that the connectivity of that is right. Okay, these three yellows have to attach to each end of these diodes right here. I think that's correct. Yes. 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 That is 85. 85 is yellow. Okay. So those will connect there. But I have to get this one all the way over to this side. So I'm going to have to build a shunt because it's not long enough. No way I could get that all the way over there. So I'm going to have to build a jumper for it. So I need another wire that's the same. This is a 1416 or a 1614 or whatever you want to call it. And all the other wires in here are kind of bigger. Like these reds are like 14s, closer to 14s than 16s. So I need another piece of that. I don't think I have any over here. I do have some of that blue stuff I chopped off. Could use some of this. I think that would work. Yeah, that'll work. So I just need to connect to here with this, and then this goes to here. So we'll make a connection with that real quick. Alright, so we need the wire strippers. Do a 14 here. Bango. And then we already got a 14 here. We need some shrink wrap. Heat shrink, not shrink wrap. Heat shrink. We'll use one of these. Should have sold those to me by the pound. Those are heavy. Okay, that goes all the way through. Make sure our heat shrink will shrink onto it. Yes, just barely. Alright, that's going to make a good connection after it's crimped. Alright, so we need to cut off a length of this to cover our gap. We'll do something like that because I'm overcautious and a psychopath. Alright, let's go here. Okay, everybody's connected. Everybody loves everybody. Alright, damn camera shut off because it was too hot. Alright, so we're getting this in here. Get that on there well in the middle. Alright, that's good. Alright, so we'll give it some hot here with a blowgun or hair dryer. That's not a hair dryer, it's actually a high-tech heater of some kind. Ah, get in there. Go. Right. My wife would say, you had those 4 little screws because you never throw anything away. That's blatantly false. I have actually thrown things away before.
Aren't you getting quite proficient at lying?
I don't remember when the last time was, but I have thrown something away before. Alright, we're going to get this board mounted. I put a little piece of that rubber mat underneath it. And now I'm just pilot holing my screw holes here so I have something to grab hold of. Make that easier to set. They don't go anywhere. Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Thank you. Alright, let's get those going. Get in there. I don't think the wood underneath this is conductive, but wet wood is. So I'm going to go with putting a little piece of rubber under there. Just in case. It's only 2 watts, but you know what? Better safe than sorry, as they say. Alright. Board's in place. Not going anywhere. Alright. Now we're going to solder the yellow wire here onto our wires over there. We're going to fish it underneath. Clear, 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 bend. Clear, 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 bend, solder. Soldering in place. Yeah, I think I need a cover for that. You know I do. Alright, where's my soldering gun? Over here. Get warm, buddy. Get warm. Let's get something to hold that down so we don't have to worry about that moving while we're trying to solder. Just set something heavy on it. Not heavy enough, apparently. Alright, damn ya. Do this the hard way then. Just connect these two right there with our handy dandy hemostat, and it'll hold it tight while we solderize. Alright, here we go, soldering. Hot, 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 hot. Warm on the metals. Melting, smell. That hemostat sitting there, it's not getting hot enough. It's just sucking up all the heat. All the heat I'm pouring into that's just not going where it's supposed to go. How do you guys do this? How do you get stuff to stay in one spot while you try to solder it? Somebody help me. Help me. God. Alright. Is it warm? Is it hot enough to stick? Oh Lord, that's a mess. Boy, is that a mess. I need a better soldering gun. Yep. I need one that gets the juice out. It's about the worst looking solder joint I've probably ever made. I'm embarrassed to have shown you this. That is terrible. That is just the worst. That is ugly. It's terrible. Okay. Gotta charge some batteries. Gotta charge some batteries, including my own, because this is frustrating me and I'm not happy with it. Day 3. Alright, we're gonna finish this up. We're gonna get our wires. We're gonna get our wires sorted out here and soldered. So that's the plan today. And the goal is to not cover up all the soldering with my hand, because apparently I did that in the last video and you didn't get to see very much. So I cut a bunch out. All right, that's what we're gonna do here. My brain tells me to flux these so that the solder will run better, but the other half of me says, you haven't done it before, so why are you bothering now? But we'll flux those just for giggles, because it says it'll work better if you do. I don't remember doing a lot of this when I was growing up, so I'm gonna do that. All right, we're gonna wrap these around like we did before. So 1, 2, 3, that was 4 over there, so that's good. All right, I'm not sure which order these are, but we'll sort that out at the panel when we get there. All right. All right. All right, let's get those wrapped around there. Each one wrapped around, pushed down. It's my boss. Okay, the boss didn't want to talk. I ordered the 2 amp fuses also yesterday, so just so you know, I got that done. Feel pretty good about that. All right, let's get that wrapped around there. All right, we flexed up our connections. Where's our solder? Had a big wire of that. Where did it go? It's on the counter here somewhere, maybe, perhaps. Nope, nope, and nope. Oh, there it is. Found it. All right, let's see if we can do this without covering it up too much. All right, I'm gonna fix this piece too over here. I'm gonna fix this one as well. I'm gonna put some. I don't think I am. Flux on this. It's like a big booger. It won't come off your finger. All right, we're gonna have to pretend like that's okay. All right, that's it. That's it. That's where we're at. That's the whole thing. That's the whole kit and caboodle, as they say. All right, got all this. Question is, did I heat these diodes up too much and where they don't work anymore? So, and that's an issue if I did, because I'll have to start all over. So, which is okay because we got a box full of these and we can do that as much as we like to. This is for future growth. Interior light will be one of those. Don't know what the other one will be yet, but it'll be part of my 6-gang party. Boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. All right. I think that's it for tonight. Don't know why I couldn't get this done last night, but I felt like I needed to get it done. So tomorrow we'll have, or the next day we'll have 2 amp fuses, which we'll load those up there, and then we'll be all set. So I feel pretty good about that and where we stand right now. Ugly? Yes. Could that be done better? Oh yeah, for sure. So I looked online, and the hole size does matter. But I did ask my friend who's way better at this stuff than me, and he said it ain't gonna make any difference at the amperage you're passing through those gigantic posts, these on the diodes, that they won't need to, you don't need to worry about reducing the wire size or whatever to get it stuck into the board. The only reason the board exists today now is to make sure that I had a place to mount them so they weren't bouncing all over the place. In a future world, that would have been better done if I'd had mounted them onto the PCB board and then soldered them all together underneath so they looked pretty, but it's gonna work. I am confident in that. All right, thanks. If you got this far, you might as well like and subscribe. And that's about it for this week. And I'll button this up and send it out. Added a new subscriber today, Russ Mettle. I'll put a link to his YouTube page right here. Pretty cool guy. He works on series trucks in England, and he's always tinkering in his shop. So he's updated his site this week with some very amusing add-ons. So I liked it and commented. So, all right, that's all I got. Thanks a lot. We'll see you later.